Hello, it is J Mac with you, and this is the All Access podcast where we go behind the scenes of the night show with J Mac. I love this part because it's the extension of the night show. It's the place where I can go a little bit further into interviews, a little bit further into conversations. I have a special guest in studio with me tonight. I'd like to introduce to you right now, this is John Nipper. And John, he is a part of a great ministry called Fishing for Jesus Ministries. And you guys have got a really great kids event that's coming up this Saturday. It's called the Fishing for Jesus Jamboree. And hey, by the way, if you have a kiddo that would love to come fish for Jesus and learn about Jesus, text the word fish to 76622 right now, or even head over to our community events page at WIMZ.com. All right, John, let's go ahead and talk.
Okay.
This has just been a wonderful last 24 hours. I mean that. Like, I just really feel like God is just moving and grooving. He is putting pieces in place, and how quickly, too, that everything has just kind of come together in the last 24 hours. You're here now.
I know.
After just talking on the phone last night.
Yes.
And so let's just talk about, first of all, your heart for this ministry.
Yeah.
How did this all start, John?
About a year ago, I was working as a Knox County Sheriff's chaplain, going into the jails and ministering to the inmates there, having church on Sundays. The senior pastor at the church I go to Crosswalk Fellowship Church on Central Avenue Pike. I'm the assistant pastor there. And we would go into the jails and have church with inmates. You know, it was a blessing, J-Mac, to get to go in there and minister to those guys. I mean, we had some good services. But I got to thinking about that and how great it would be if we could minister to these kids before they get to that point.
That is so great.
And then you get to looking at these situations. Most of these kids, they're basically in single-parent homes. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, it's the single moms. The family's either been affected through addiction, alcoholism, or incarceration, or all the above.
Yep.
Most of the time, they come home from school, they go to their rooms, they can't go outside and play. Most of them, the housing they live in and so forth, and the areas they live in,
right?
They can't just go out and play anytime they want to, so they go in and they're on an Xbox. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be great to be able to get these kids out on a riverbank and teach them to fish?
That's so good.
And teach them about Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
And basically what we're trying to do is build a bridge that makes that connection.
Absolutely.
And then once that connection's made, then we want to disciple them. You know, so many times, like in Bible school, it's a one and done thing. You know, the kids come in, but there's nobody there to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's their names?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they? Where do they live? What are you doing now to help those kids get some roots to where they have something to fight when the enemy comes to attack them?
Absolutely.
You know, that's what we're trying to do. And just about every kid that we minister to, basically dealing with the same issues in their lives. They have a real low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of faith in any of their abilities. They're very insecure. And a lot of them suffering from PTSD.
Yeah.
And different things that they've seen and so forth in their family. So when we get them out and get them to catching a few fish and seeing that they can actually do this, it's a very special thing. Can I share with you about a couple of the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on.
We got this one little boy, his name's Mason. His mom and dad are both in active addiction. I was fishing with Mason, and he was catching bluegill, and it was getting close to dark, and I always like to throw a long line out for catfish or something a little bigger about, when it gets a little closer to dark. So I told Mason, I said, I'm going to throw a long line out, buddy, and see if we can catch you something bigger. He said, no, I don't want to. And I said, well, why? And he said, I can't do it. I said, well, why not? And he said, I'm too little, John. I can't do it. I said, Mason, there's not a fish in that river that you and I can't catch, if we work at it together. And he said, John, I can't do it. I don't want to. Well, it got close to dark, and I said, Mason, I'm throwing this line out, and you go ahead and fish for your bluegill, but I'm going to throw it out just in case. Well, God blessed, and about a 3-pound blue cat got on the line. So I called him over. I said, Mason, come here. You got one. And he ran over there, and he started fighting the fish, and he got it in through some encouragement. And I used that fish to teach him that he can do it.
Yeah.
we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. He overcome his fears. And another little boy, his name was Preston. I tried to make friends with him at Bible school, and he's like, I don't want to be your friend. I mean, you know how kids can be brutally honest.
Yes, they can.
You know, and that's, you know, it's fine. I'd rather people be that way. I'd rather know what I'm dealing with, you know. And finally, after a week, I finally convinced him to be a little bit friends. He held his little fingers up about a half-inch apart, and he says, all right, Brother John, we're that much friends. I said, I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
Oh.
I took him on his first fishing trip. After that, we bonded, and I shared Jesus through creation, you know, and how.
Yeah.
And when we got through, I always have prayer with him, and he said, Brother John, we're fishing buddies now. You can call me anytime you want to.
Oh. Well, John, I'm really looking forward to being a part of Saturday. And again, I want to encourage anybody that has got any kiddos that are wanting to fish, that are wanting to learn about Jesus. This is it right here. It's not an accident that you're listening to this right now. I believe if you want to do this, just text FISH right now to 76622 to get some more information. John, is there anything else that you want to add before we jump off here?
If you can't make it to the Jamboree on Saturday, please reach out. The Jamboree is just everybody coming together for a time of praise and worship and everything. But if you can't come to the Jamboree, still reach out and book a trip if you'd like to go. We'd love to have you.
Well, thank you again, John. If you want to come to the event or if you just want more information about Fishing for Jesus Ministries, text the word FISH to 76622.